This is CHSR 97.9 FM here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, and you're listening to Python's Paradise, your film and music show. And this is your host, Greg Gilbert, a.k.a. the Python Hyena. And folks, I've had a number of the Friday the 13th alumni here on the show, plus a couple of authors. David Grove I had on here with his book On Location in Blairstown, The Making of Friday the 13th. And we also had Scotty McCoy on here earlier in January to talk about his book, The Friday the 13th Ultimate Trivia Book. And now I have the author of Crystal Lake Memories. Yes, we have Peter Bracke on the phone with me this evening. Out there in Good Worm, California. Well, I'm stuck in the midst of a snowstorm here in New Brunswick, Canada. But welcome to the show, Peter.
Well, welcome. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Yes, you did this big, thick book, Crystal Lake Memories, and I bought that, and boy, it didn't take me long to zip through it. But I'm going to tell you, I'm 44 years old, go be 45 in July. I grew up with these movies, and I guess my first question is, why is it that you decided to do a book on the Friday the 13th franchise?
Well, I grew up on the films, dating myself, but and I used to be an entertainment journalist, so for many, many years I wrote about film, movie reviews, and things like that, and I always loved the movies. I grew up on horror movies and slasher movies. And at the time, this is way back, in 2002, when I first started the book. At the time, there was no DVDs on Friday the 13th. There wasn't, really any sort of critical reevaluation of slasher movies in general. And I was looking for a new book project to do. And I just happened one week, they were showing Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D for the 20th anniversary here at LA in a New Art Theater, and a friend of mine said, hey, let's go. I said, that'd be great. And it just so happened someone had invited some cast and crew to the screening, and all of them got up there, and they're all like, oh my God, we haven't talked about this movie in years. And again, there was really no information on these movies, still at the time. So I don't know, a few days went by, and I just kept thinking about it, like, wow, this would be perfect. There hasn't been any really sort of information on these movies. No one's really taken a real critical or cultural look at the influence of these movies. It just seemed like perfect. And, a few months went by, and by that point I was, totally immersed in it. I didn't know at the time it was going to take me 2.5 years to finish the project. But, everything kind of coalesced, and 2.5 years later, I had a book. Yeah, it's just one of those things where everything kind of lined together. So I'm very happy I did it.
What was it like seeing Tracy Savage in 3D?
Well, I actually saw the movie originally when I was 11 years old in 3D. It was pretty amazing. I mean, I think I still have the most nostalgia for Part 3 just because it was such an exciting movie-going experience at that age, to see 3D and horror and naked people. It was very... you're 11. That's pretty incredible. So, I actually met her in person. We had a really nice interview, and she came to a couple other later screenings of it. So she's great.
I've never seen Part 3 in 3D. I would like to, but I gotta ask. What was the most impressive 3D effect in it? Was it the eyeball scene?
I think it might have been Andy being split in half, the guy walking on his hands. I think that was pretty. I mean, the eyeball was a lot of fun, but I think the splitting thing, people are like, oh my God, because it's just so mean-spirited. It's so awful. And I think if you're a guy, you're like, oh my God, you can totally relate. I mean, that's a pretty awful thought to have that happen to you. So that got a lot of gasps, I think. And the whole final chase was great. People were cheering, and back then things weren't ironic yet or postmodern. People, it was played. I mean, there was some humor in the movie. We did kind of laugh at the biker gang a little bit, but it was still, Jason was still like this object of fear, and we took it all seriously, and so people were cheering and excited and scared. It was pretty awesome. So
I actually think the biker gang subplot was actually a nice addition to the film because it really added something to Shelley and Vera.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But you know what, though? I'm going to tell you, these movies can be a teaching tool, too, because the first one I saw was Friday the 13th, Part 2. And I remember my uncle owned a video store from, I think it was 1981 to 1988. And
wow.
yeah, he now does Christmas wreaths now, so he's in a bigger business. But I remember he owned a video store, and I remember it wasn't until junior high that I even found out that Mrs. Voorhees was the killer in Part 1.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, I did not. I always thought that he killed as a boy in Part 1 because I guess the original film, the VHS was busted or something at his store. So the only 3 that we had seen, I got 2 brothers, and the only ones that we had seen was Parts 2, 3, and 4 at that store.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Part 2, my cousins, my devious little cousins. Actually, they were older than me, but still, they had Part 2. And my mother was not pleased that they were showing it to my older brother. But I happened to be in the room, and there was 2 or 3 kills that took place. And I guess, that didn't freak anybody out. But the moment Kirsten Baker strips down naked and walks across the lake, that was when my mom came and shut the TV off.
Hilarious.
And it was the first time I'd ever seen a naked woman. So Kirsten Baker is marked in my memory.
Well, yeah, I remember my grandmother, she was a little bit religious, and she was like, I had to hide watching the movies from her. I had to hide my Fangoria magazine. She would take them and throw them away. She's like, you're going to go to hell, it's dirty. Of course, that just totally made me want to see it all more. You know what I mean?
What would your grandmother think of the Passion of the Christ?
She probably would have liked that, because I think, violence is fine if it's in service of whatever your belief is. So, I don't know, I don't know what she would think. That's a good one.
You know what? I love the Passion. I thought it was beautifully done. But I got to say, though, for an R-rated movie, I sat back and I watched everybody from the church that I could think of. I watched to see whether they were going to go see an R-rated movie.
Yeah.
And that film was nearly NC-17.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's amazing that. I mean, it's again, I think maybe because the religious aspect that it gets away with stuff. Or Saving Private Ryan's another one where it's like, it's crazy. I mean, what Friday the 13th, was attacked for now seems so tame. You can see that on TV, on CSI and stuff like that. It's crazy. You
know what's weird? Back in 1971, A Clockwork Orange, Dirty Harry, and Straw Dogs were all banned in various places around the world. But yet 30 years later, Freddy Got Fingered gets an R rating instead of an NC-17. You want to talk about a film that should have had an NC-17? Freddy Got Fingered should have been it.
Interesting, yeah.
And I don't get it. And yet Freddy Got Fingered rose no eyebrows except for the Razzies.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a comedy. It's so hard. I mean, what I know about the MPAA is a different group of people every time rate movies, so it's not the same people. So for one group, they might be, oh my God, no. Another group might let it pass. Like, there's really no consistency. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. It makes more sense that way. Like, yeah, one movie will get through, another movie won't. So,
you know what I find funny? When I write my reviews, I don't put the MPAA rating because if it was up to me, Old Yeller would be rated PG, not G. And I think you know why.
Oh, yeah, or Bambi. It's very disturbing,
Yes. I remember seeing Bambi at the drive-in when I was really young. And, when we were driving home, my parents asked what we thought of the movie, and we saw it at a special screen at the drive-in. And I was petrified as a little kid because all I could think of is, Bambi's mother was shot. Now, Bambi is a certainly better made movie than Old Yeller. I think Old Yeller was just overrated shit, but...
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I only saw parts of that movie. I don't think I saw the whole thing. As a kid, I didn't like Disney. I didn't like sweet and saccharine. I liked dark I was into horror movies, and I was 7 or 8. Like, yeah, I had no interest in Lady and the Tramp or anything
No.
like that. I wanted to see The Exorcist.
Oh yeah, I've seen The Exorcist on the big screen 5 times.
Yeah.
And I would have,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have been 1 when that came out originally,
Gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, part 2 was my introductory the first time when I saw Kirsten Baker naked. I was like, that's the first time I knew a woman looked different underneath the clothes than a man. Thank you, Kirsten Baker.
When she really went pretty full out there with the nudity, so yeah.
Yeah.
What's interesting is it seems like you jump up, like part 2 and part 4 and part 5 have a lot of nudity, and like 1 and 3 and 6 has none. So most of the time it's pretty tame, but yeah, like I think I remember 2 and 4 especially, they showed a lot. They were quite graphic in the nudity department. So, of course, that was also the era of Porky's and things like that. So that was a big part of. I tell kids today, my nieces and nephews, like they don't understand. Like there was no internet, so the only way you could see anything nudity or violence, you had to watch HBO or go see a rated R movie. So it was really exciting. Now you can just Google anything and get whatever you want in 5 seconds. So totally different.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see part 1 until junior high. Junior high, I guess a bunch of friends were having a birthday party, and I'd seen parts 2, 3, and 4. Actually, when I saw part 2, I was afraid of horror films. I was petrified, grossed out. And I remember at the end of part 2, I was like, oh no. We were driving home from my cousins, and I was like, he's still out there. He's still out there. He came through the window. He's still out there. And it wasn't until my older brother coached me into watching the final chapter. He said, he dies in this one. Of course, technically he died, but but I was able to watch after the final chapter. For some weird reason, I was able to watch horror movies without much of a problem. And when the group of friends were having this birthday party, none of us had seen part 1. They had seen, and this was before part 7 came out. So parts 5 and 6 they had rented. They had seen it, but they wanted to show them to me. So they got me caught up, and none of us knew that Mrs. Voorhees was the killer in the original.
Interesting. Yeah, a lot of people don't remember that. It's very, in a way, part 1's like a prequel to the series. It's very unusual.
Yeah. And then, of course, part 7, I actually saw in the theater, and I was underage when I got in. I was 15. My older brother was 17. There was a guy that was dressed like Jason ripping the tickets. I don't know how we got in, but we got in. We saw part 7.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it. But that's the best way to see it, really, when you're younger. I'm not trying to imagine like what a 35-year-old would make of these movies, seeing them for the first time, but I think it definitely worked best when you're younger.
Yeah. And of course, I grew up with a lot of the slasher films, Halloween being one of my all-time favorites. And I like little cult films too, like Ms. 45. I love that. And like Dressed to Kill, the De Palma films, and
Blowout, definitely.
Yeah, and one of my favorite Canadian ones, Class of 1984, one of my favorite Canadian. Yeah. I did a number of interviews from that. You paid me a nice compliment when you got in contact with me. You had mentioned that you had looked at my stuff. You said I had an impressive list of interviewees, and I really appreciated hearing that because I worked really, really hard at this, and I just won the Barry Award for Best Spoken Word Show.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's nice to see. You can tell a real fan or someone with knowledge of the era and someone who isn't. You see a few folks, who you can just tell by the people you've interviewed and your focus that you care about this stuff and you have a passion for it, and you can't fake that.
No. Well, have you heard any of my previous interviews?
No, I clicked on like the little bits and pieces, but I haven't listened to one all the way through. There's just so many. I'm not sure where to start, to be honest. It's kind of overwhelming. So you'll have to tell me like what the top 2 or 3 are that I should start with.
Oh, gee, I don't know. I know my first one was in April 2003, was with a horror film of its own right, Tommy Wiseau from The Room.
Oh my God! Wow, that's a good first one though. That must have been interesting.
That's a horror film for you.
Yeah. It still plays here. It's a big midnight movie here in LA.
Yeah. Well, he was my first, and I remember after I got done talking to Tommy, I said to myself, who else could I get? Because Tommy Wiseau landed on me kind of by accident. A former colleague of mine had somehow had a contact with Riff Tracks on Twitter, and just landed this interview with Tommy Wiseau, and I said, let's do this on at the radio station, do a podcast. I said that way we can get it out there, and after that it was like, who else can we talk to? And my mind went right back to my uncle's store, and because that young age, I had a crush on various actresses and whatnot growing up, and I think 2 people that came to mind that I wanted to talk to. One was Adrienne King of Friday the 13th, and the other was Lisa Langlois from class of 1984.
Yeah.
And I got both.
Eyes, of course, yeah.
What's that?
And she was also in another one of my favorites. I think it was called The Rats up where you were at, but down here it was called
Deadly Eyes.
Deadly Eyes. That's what it's called. Yeah.
I absolutely adore Lisa Langlois, and I made an interesting connection here with her because her manager has sent me more or less 8 or 10 people for my podcast.
Oh, great!
Yeah, her manager sends a lot of people to me, and I've had her on from that film, and I've had Stefan Arngrim and Mary Lynn Ross, all from class of 1984, and it's just
great. Right.
Yeah, and I'm still connected with all 3, which is a real blessing.
Have you ever seen the Man Who Wasn't There with Lisa? It was a Frank Mancuso Jr. movie production.
Yeah, with Steve Guttenberg.
Yeah, it's not a great movie, but
you know what? Why is it they can't make an Invisible Man movie fun? Like Hollow Man was terrible. It's like, why not? Why did The Man Who Wasn't There have to be so dark? Why not take the invisibility thing and think, gee, let's have fun with it?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I guess the original Man is good. I mean, even the John Carpenter movie, Memoirs of an Invisible Man, isn't probably his best. I don't think anyone considers it his best.
Although it was interesting he worked with Chevy Chase, though, so I'll give him that.
Yeah, and Daryl Hannah. Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, visibility is tough. I don't know.
But I felt really bad how Lisa was treated on that film, though, because
I read a couple interviews. So, yeah, but it would be very difficult. The 80s, a lot of people weren't treated very well. I think things are a lot different now.
But yeah, I was always ever since class of 1984, I was a big fan of Lisa. So I was really so happy to get her on here, and she's supposed to come on again hopefully this summer. She's very busy, but her manager said that she'll be back on eventually. But I did get Adrienne King on here, and she was my first of several Friday the 13th alumni, and she didn't. She didn't even freak out at me when I told her I had a crush on her when I was young.
Oh, I'm sure she's heard it before.
She still looks good, too.
Yeah, she's great. She's up in Oregon now, I think, and she's one of my earliest interviews, and she's been wonderful. She's been very supportive of me over the years, so I'm glad she's doing well, because she had a difficult situation when the movie came out.
Well,
and all that.
She had a difficult situation when Part 2 came out.
Yeah, that too.
I asked her if she's going to go into the clothing line business and sell turtlenecks and overalls, and she said, no way.
Oh, my God, that outfit.
Why?
She's like, the costume designer must have hated me. Even now, even as a kid, I remember going, why is she wearing, like, a farmer? I don't know what the thing is, but it's hilarious. You say, well, she gets out of it at least, so that helps. The bathroom's better. I'll give it that.
Yeah, here's the thing I liked about Adrienne. In fact, I think it's kind of in many ways my favorite type of female, because they're not what you call Playboy oriented, but they have that very down-to-earth, natural, good looks.
Yep.
And that's what made Adrienne King kind of stand out to me.
I agree. Same with Amy Steele, all of them. Yeah, they had a real, I don't know, there's a sense of naturalness, beauty. They're smart, funny. Yeah, they're real, they don't try too hard. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now everything is so plastic and fake. So
it is. Yep.
Yeah. Different time. Yeah, I mean, you look at these older fighter teams. I mean, none of those people would have been cast in the movies today. It's just which is a shame. All the kids now, like, I don't know, it's just everyone's polished, and I guess it's a different time. But part of what I liked about the early Fridays was, you felt that these are real people that you would see in real life. Now in horror movies, it's these kids who are so glossy and good looking with the nicest clothes. No, they're not representative, I think, of a normal, average, relatable kid. But
yeah. Well, she's now doing the whole Crystal Lake Wines thing.
Mm-hmm. She paints as well. Yeah.
Yep, she paints.
All the paintings in part 2 are actually hers. All those drawings and stuff.
She
did those.
When I interviewed her, her dog was just a pop too, because you could hear it in the background.
Yeah.
But she posted a picture on Facebook one time that I guess the dog got into her paint.
Oh, I love it. I hope the dog's still alive. Yeah, they don't live that long. So.
Yeah, the dog's still alive as far as I know. But
okay, good. Yeah.
But it was just a pup when I interviewed her, and that was May of 2015, and it was about a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was about a week before Betsy Palmer had passed away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
it's bad, you definitely know you're getting old when the people of your generation start passing away, unfortunately. Danny Steinman passed away, and Jim Isaac, a lot of present people, Richard Brooker,
When you did your book, who was the first person you got an interview with?
It was actually Larry Zerner of Part 3, as a matter of fact, who's still a good friend of mine. He was great. He's the one in Part 3, Shelley, who gave Jason his...
Yeah, I know. He turned me down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Huh. I'm surprised. Oh, maybe, he's talked about it a lot. That's funny. Huh. Well, I can always ask him for you. But, we just went to another Part 3 screening here in L.A. a few weeks ago for the 35th anniversary, because this year is the 35th anniversary of the movie, which is crazy. And he was there for that, so...
Strangely enough, I've been turned down by 2 of the Jokers. I was turned down by Stu Charno, and I was turned down by Larry Zerner. Now I've got both of them on Facebook, so I'm not holding it against them. I mean, Larry Zerner was polite about it,
Yeah.
He's a very polite guy.
Busy? Yeah. I mean, he is a lawyer, so, it could be scheduled. I don't know.
As for Stu Charno, what I found funny about him is he didn't realize it was, at the time, the 35th anniversary of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
He was like, has it really been 35 years?
Yeah.
But
he's a character, yeah.
You never know. Yeah. But he
you
added me on Facebook, so, I mean, there's no hard feelings,
Yeah, you never know what's going on, too, in someone's life. So, there was times when I did the book, because I did it over a long period of time, people said no at first and then came around or changed their mind. A couple of people said yes and then changed their mind later. But then for the ebook or future versions, we were able to get them, or for the documentary. So, like Adrienne King was hesitant, and then she, did it. So you never know what's going on with someone. And some people at times, unfortunately, a couple people were sick, had health issues, so they couldn't do it. But, later on, I was able to get them. So, it's tough.
When you interviewed Adrienne King, you would have been one of the first people to interview her.
Yeah. Well, she had, because she had that issue with the stalker after the second film. So, yeah, she didn't ask for, she left acting. And the only reason she said yes is I did an interview with Joseph Zito, who directed the final chapter, and they had a friendship because Adrienne's husband was in the post business, like post-production recording. I guess he knew Joe Zito, so they had become friends. And he called her for me and put in a good word for me. And that was probably the only reason. And then once she did it, and it was very helpful for her to sort of get through some bad memories, and now obviously she's very embracing of the fans. So yeah, you never know what someone's personal story is going to be and why. There's a couple interviews I wish I'd gotten. I don't know if you know who Martin Becker is. He was the effects guy he did 3, 4, 5, 6. He did a lot of the films, and I got in touch with him, and everyone's like, "Oh, he'll totally get an interview. He's great." And then he said no, and it was just really odd. And then it turned out only a few weeks later he had passed away from cancer, so he was really sick. So that was just a case of I had no idea. And, of course, I wish I would have gotten the interview, but you never know what's going on in someone's life. So.
You know what I do in situations like that? I don't know if you've noticed this on my YouTube channel, but I've done obviously Alfred Hitchcock's not alive anymore, but I was able to do an interview with his granddaughter.
Oh, right.
I had his granddaughter on here, and it was amazing. And I interviewed one of the trustee members of Ray Harryhausen in honor of the 35th anniversary of Clash of the Titans. And I mentioned Ms. 45 earlier. I was so sad when I heard that Zoe Tamerlis Lund had passed away. And Robert Lund, her husband, came on twice.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and I had 2 interviews with him. I'm still in touch with him. And actually, the first interview I did with him is the biggest one right now I've got on YouTube. I'm amazed at the fan base that she has. Yeah. But
they're so fascinating, interesting. Again, there wasn't a lot of coverage for this stuff, so I think part of it is, we grew up just not having information, because no one did interviews, so it's so exciting when you get to talk to people like that, because you finally get to hear their stories. That's what was great about doing the book. It was so much fun.
Yeah. But I really owe you a debt of thanks, though, because had it not been for you, I would probably have never have gotten to talk to Adrienne King in the first place. And I'll tell you a little backstory. When I was younger, when we used to use the public library to do research, now it's computers, I wanted to see Adrienne in other films after seeing her in part 1. And I could, I'd look up and all I'd see is Friday parts 1 and 2. And I'm like, had she done anything else? And I remember I tried to write to her a couple of times. I had some of those, I don't know whether it was from Fangoria magazine or some site that was selling booklets that had addresses in them, and I tried my best to write to Adrienne because I wanted an autographed picture, and everything would turn up bad, and I was so heartbroken. So when I went on Facebook after the Tommy Wiseau interview and I pitched the chance to interview her, it was a long weekend in May, and I got, the Monday morning I looked at Facebook and I could not believe I had a response, a favorable one from her. And not only did I interview her, I finally got 3 autograph pictures in the mail. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so we got cut off there. I think the winter storm is cursing us. But I was talking about, again, Adrienne King. And if it hadn't have been for you, I finally got the autograph pictures in the mail I've always wanted. Oh, and I really owe you a debt of thanks for that.
Really?
Yeah, because if it wasn't for you bringing her out, And there was a time, when I found out that she had a stalker, I was like, I actually, for a while, I thought, was it me? Was there somebody else other than me looking for her? But I always put my return address, so I can't think the law is that stupid, but it didn't say anything over.
No, it was a really intense situation. She talked about it publicly, so I feel like I can repeat it here, but it ended up with him coming into her apartment with a gun. It was bad. It was, really intense. So I can understand why she would shy away after that from acting. So, but like you said, she found, she's doing great now with painting and crystal lake wines and other things. So, I guess it all worked out in the end.
I was really happy to have her on, though, and she's so far the only interview I've done from the original. There's other people I've reached out to, I haven't heard back from, but
it gets tougher and tougher.
Well, I've reached out to Ron Milkey, who played Officer Dorth.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try him again, and I've reached out to Robbie Morgan, who played Annie, and I'll reach out. Yeah, I know they're on Facebook, so I'll give them a try.
Yeah, I know a lot of those folks are on the East Coast. Like the first two movies were filmed, we're in Connecticut and stuff. So most of them are more East Coast based, whereas the rest of the movies are more here on the West Coast. So at times it can be harder to find them. And some just are less. They're just not that interested in. I know I think Mark Nelson and Janine Taylor just aren't really that public, or are just not that interested in publicity and things like that anymore. So Mark Nelson was tough to get, actually. He played Ned, the Joker guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard Jeanne Taylor was not real. Was having some health issues and stuff, and.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's too bad. Yeah, she was in good shape when I talked to her, but that was a long time ago now. That's the crazy thing. I started the book again in 2002, so I'm like, Jesus, that's like 14 years ago. So, 15 years ago, it's like that's a lot of stuff can happen then. So, and then I'm sure a lot of them probably even did an interview with me. I don't know. So.
I know one person, though, that I got to bring up from part one. I obviously you weren't able to interview her, but maybe you could have. I mean, Lori Bartram, of course, has passed.
Actually, I did reach out. She's since passed away. I talked to her father, actually. She simply, her path was so she left the entertainment business shortly after Friday the 13th, and it just not in her belief system, at the time. So her father sent a nice note saying, she always appreciates, the interest, but it's just not something she would talk about or do. So,
Lori
was very nice. It was a very pleasant rejection for that.
Lori was a smart woman. I guess she homeschooled all her kids.
Yeah.
So she was.
Yeah, she married her high school sweetheart, and they were together for years. And she actually did local theater. She did little kind of, with her kids and other local kids, they did little, from Irish, did little plays and things like that locally, and that was about it. So she did keep a passion for acting, I believe.
Were you surprised when you first saw part one and discovered it wasn't Jason doing the killing?
Well, no, I thought when I was a kid, it came out, people forget that back then Jason wasn't a thing. So the movie was really about the body count. I mean, the trailer was all about, you're going to see 13 murders, and of course it was a lie because there wasn't 13 murders in the movie. But they definitely played up the number 13, and I remember the flashing numbers on the screen. And so what we all talked about was all the crazy ways people died. A guy gets an arrow through his throat, and axe in her face, and then Jason pops out the wall at the end. But there was, no. That's what the big hook was the creative murders. So. And the suspense and who's doing it. So yeah, we all knew. It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to look back on it. It was not about Jason or who the killer was at all. It was the suspense and the murders. So, again, even back then, Halloween had come out, but Halloween 2 didn't come out till '81. So this was before the era of the sort of the killer, in 10 different sequels. It really wasn't about the specific killer at that point when we were kids. That kind of came later. That was more later 80s, Freddy, and then suddenly it was about part 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they kind of became these big icons and stuff. But at the time, it wasn't about that at all. So it's really interesting.
Yeah. Did you have a favorite kill in part one?
I always thought Marcy's, that was Janine Taylor. I thought that was really well done because she goes into the I guess not the house, but it goes into the out bathroom there, and the way it's shot, and then she kind of hears the sound, and she kind of peels back the layer and goes one deeper and deeper into this place that's scary, and then the axe comes and it's right in her face. I thought that was always a really good, scary scene. Yeah, because a lot of people like the arrow in the throat, the Kevin Bacon thing, and that was cool. But yeah, really, part one doesn't have that many. When you look back, it really doesn't have that many murders. Of course, Mrs. Voorhees getting decapitated is a great moment. Yeah, but Bill, that was him arrowed in. There's some good creative stuff. But yeah, it's funny now because the later movies, there's like, 25 people die. But back then it was really, you look at Friday the 13th, it was only like 6 or 7, murders, I think, total. There's really not that many. So I guess we just, back then it was still so exciting that 6 murders was enough. Now you need 30 in a movie, So.
Was it difficult to get Sean S. Cunningham? Because I noticed he forwarded your book.
Yeah, it actually did. It wasn't difficult. I guess what had happened, I got in touch with him pretty early. The first thing they did was reach out to the directors and the writers and the main stars of the movies. And I guess someone had tried to write a couple people write a book before, got in touch, and they didn't follow through. So he was kind of hesitant. So he said, "Hey, kid, keep me, keep in touch with your progress." And it took about 6 or 7 months. And then once I did about like 50 interviews, he kind of saw that I was serious. And once he came on board, though, he was absolutely amazing. I mean, he helped me. He wrote the foreword. He helped get photos for the book. He really went to bat with New Line, and they really helped us promote. I mean, he's been fantastic. He signed books for us and came to the book launch party. But I can understand, he gets a ton of calls from, the last years of people want to do this or that, a video game or a book, and he gets a ton of offers, so he has to make sure that people involved are on the up and up. So they gave me great. I mean, we talked like 2 hours, so it was pretty fantastic.
Unfortunately, he lost his friend Wes Craven not long ago.
Yeah, I met Wes a couple of times at a convention and stuff, and he's very nice, really smart man. So
I've heard good things about him.
Yeah, it's hard to believe because I grew up on his movies. You kind of assume that these people are always going to be there. It's like if John Carpenter ever passes away, as he will, that's going to be a shock too. These are like the genre, kingpins, and it's hard to imagine them not being around. So.
Yeah, and of course, part 2 in many ways kind of almost a Xerox of part 1. But But you got Jason wearing the burlap sack. I gotta say, it actually makes him kind of look scarier.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's very feral. Like he's running around. He's kind of like a kid. Like he's young. He's not like unstoppable killing machine of the later movies. Like there's scenes of him and Ginny. She has a chainsaw. Like he seems scared. It's a different characterization. That's what's interesting is Jason took a while to grow. He didn't start out as like, this big hulking, unstoppable machine. So, yeah, I think the burlap sack is creepy too,
Especially out in the woods. I like that cabin out in the woods where he's got the mother's head. And I had to explain to Adrienne King that you can see Alice's corpse in there.
Yeah.
She did not believe me, but it's there, and you can see Kirsten Baker laying there, and you can see the cop laying there in the background. Yep. They're all assembled like that thing's a Christmas tree with a head instead of a star. But
I feel like that whole thing's been copied in another movie. They find the shrine and the killer's thing with all the body. That's I guess Halloween of course did it as well a little bit, but. I think a lot of people copied the part 2 kind of thing. There's always a shrine to the mother or the past, whatever the killer has. So.
Of course, Carl Fullerton did the makeup. He went on to do Silence of the Lambs, and you look at Silence of the Lambs, you can see a lot of Friday the 13th Part 2 there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think we all wish that the uncut version of Part 2, because a lot of that core was cut out. Whole big sequences. So we was probably suffered one of the most for all the cuts.
It nearly got an X rating.
Yeah.
Especially with the double impalement scene in the bed.
Yeah, that's all cut out now.
Yeah, I have, with the exception of Adrienne King, I actually have no interviews from Part 2, and I have tried for its. For Part 6, I got 4 for its 30th anniversary last year.
Oh, great.
But for Part 2, for its 35th, I got Bill Randolph on Facebook, but I can't. I reached out to him, but I don't know whether it's like you, whether the messages are going someplace where they're not supposed to.
Well, yeah, there's this other thing, this other part of Facebook Messenger where it goes to like you have to like approve it before you get the message. I was like, what is this? I have like 3 messages in there. So I apologize. It took me like 6 months to get back to you. I don't know.
I reached out to you in January, though.
Okay. Yeah. You can try friending them. If you friend someone first, it's different. Yeah, I think when they're non-friends, it goes somewhere else. I don't know. You can also try email. A lot of times you can. I know he works for a newspaper now. I think he does graphic stuff. So.
Well, he did.
When I did the book, there was no Facebook, so I had to like call and fax people. I was actually faxing a lot of.
Oh, he did graphics in that movie too.
Oh yeah, that's true.
In a whole different manner.
Oh. Yeah, he married a dancer, and she's a really good dancer in a New York company. I think they're still married. They were married for like 30 years, so he's still out in New York. I know that.
Yeah, and of course he did that scene with Marta Kober. You don't really hear much of her anymore, but she's in that big famous scene.
Yeah, he was also in Dress to Kill in a small part in that.
I love Dress to Kill too. That's another movie I would love to get an interview from, but
yeah. Nancy Allen's really is wonderful. Yeah.
Well, I've been trying to get Nancy Allen on, and again, it's like I don't know whether it's a matter of trust. Like I have never had a bad interview with anybody, but I don't know. Like I don't know. I would love to get Nancy Allen on here, but to talk about not just Dress to Kill, but other great movies she did. But it was interesting. Of course, Bill Randolph was the cab driver in that.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've reached out to Amy Steele. Amy Steele, too, I haven't heard back from either, but I know Adrienne King had mentioned in her interview that Amy is very, very busy with her practice. So.
Yeah.
Sometimes
if they have something new to promote, sometimes you can get someone, or you can try to have someone who knows them, like Adrienne put in a good word for you or something. It's tough, I mean, I was lucky when I did the book because at that time, they talked about Friday the 13th, and I remember Amy Steele, when I called her, she called me back, and she's like, wow, she's like, no one's asked me about this movie in a long time, and this would be really fun, and I think now it's different because they talked about it a lot and done conventions, so, and maybe they get a lot of requests, sometimes they get so many requests they can't do everything. I don't know. Yeah, again, I got lucky because I was kind of like the first one, so it was still kind of fresh, but yeah, I got a few people like, why do you want to talk about that? Like, who wants to talk about it? I'm like, no, there really is a fan base. They didn't believe me. Some of the folks did not believe that anyone still cared about these movies. I'm like, no, really, they do. So
who responded like that?
A couple people from I remember one of the guys from Part 7, Melanie Kinnaman from Part 5. I remember when I called the banana girl, she held the banana in the final chapter and gets killed on the side of the road. She just started laughing. She's like, I can't believe someone wants to talk to me about this, I remember calling the guy who did the disco theme for Part 3, and he was laughing. He's like, I can't believe anyone remembers this song, let alone would want to talk about this. I said, no, we all love the disco theme. So I think they all got a kind of a kick out of it, I remember Eric Anderson from Part 4 was another one. He's like, I can't believe anyone's interested in this movie. I said, So there's a few of them. And now I think it's different. I think, the internet and all these conventions, people are more aware,
Well, I would have loved to have had Amy Steele on, but
yeah,
I noticed you did not get Kirsten Baker, the first naked woman I ever seen. Now, any story about her?
Well, I couldn't at the time. Again, this was before Facebook, and unfortunately, the last name of Baker. Literally, there was hundreds of Kirsten Bakers in the country, and no one had kept in touch. Part 2 folks, they were like, I don't know. She has resurfaced. She was at a convention, I think, a few years ago. I know she worked for an art gallery and things. Unfortunately, it's on the web, so I can say it. Used to do a search for her, but she was arrested for a DUI at one point.
I saw that.
Yeah, unfortunately. So I don't know the story there, but she has resurfaced. So if we ever do an update of the book, which I'd like to do if a new movie ever comes out, I would definitely try to interview her. So
she's not the only one from Part 2 who's had a headshot like that.
Unfortunately. Well, I'll be honest. I did an interview with Marta Kober, and it was unusable. She wasn't coherent. It was a shame. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
She wasn't able to.
I think she has done a convention though recently, so I hope she's. And I heard she's in better health, so I hope so. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, And of course, everybody loves Lon Marie Taylor as Vicky as well.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She's so much fun. Yeah, she was great. I love talking to her. And she's on a few conventions too. But it's normal. You look at a stage like Friday the 13th, you're talking about 12 movies, hundreds of people. There's going to be happy stories and occasionally not so happy stories. There's always going to be someone who doesn't want to talk, and etc. It's just the way it goes.
And Lauren Marie Taylor worked with John Belushi too, so.
Yeah, Neighbors. Yeah, I asked her about that. And we, what else? Well, she was in what was that movie? Girls Night Out, I think, another slasher movie. She did. Yeah, I think those are the main. And she was on Edge of Night with Tom McBride for a while. So I remember. Or I'm sorry, it was Loving. She was on a soap. I remember that. I remember just going, oh my God, the girl from Friday the 13th Part 2 is in a soap opera. Yeah. So that's where I always knew them from. So.
And Tom McBride no longer with us, the wheelchair Tom.
Yeah, away. So yeah, a long time ago. He's way before Crazy Ralph was another one. Walt Gorney, I wanted to interview, but he had Alzheimer's at the time. He's deceased now, so I was not able to talk to him, unfortunately.
Walt Gorney was funny. As I think
yeah.
Crazy Ralph should have had at least one more scene in the original.
Yeah, I know.
I would have liked to have seen one more scene with him.
Yeah, he was a big New York stage actor. Like he seems crazy in the movie. He wasn't crazy in real life. He was actually a well-known stage actor. So he definitely was playing that part. That was all him.
Yeah.
Some people thought he was really crazy. They just got some old crazy guy to be in the movie, but he was actually an actor. So.
And of course,
people forget that Shrek was in the first one too. The guy who they used to face for Shrek, Erwin Keyes. He has a cameo in when Robbie Morgan first goes into the diner on the way to Camp Crystal Lake. He's sweeping up. And he went on to be the model for Shrek. So it's a really interesting small world how these things connect.
Wow. And of course, Part 3. I wouldn't mind seeing that in 3D someday.
Yeah, it's great.
Right now, I've done no interviews from it, and I'll tell you, if I had my choice to do an interview of anybody from Part 3, it's Tracy Savage.
Yeah, she's great. She should be a reporter, so she's.
Yeah, she would be my choice if I had a chance to interview anybody. And again, I've reached out on Facebook, but again, I don't know whether they're getting these messages or what the story is, but Tracy, I thought she was one gorgeous woman. And I always feel bad when she gets killed off.
I know, and she's pregnant too, supposedly. I don't know if she's actually supposed to be. I never could understand if that was a joke or not. Remember that whole line about her being pregnant? Yeah. Yeah,
they don't include that in the body count, do they?
Yeah, I don't know. I assume it was a joke, but she says it like twice, I think. It's a very weird joke to make, so I don't know about that one.
Yeah, what was she like?
In real life?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's really nice. We met at a restaurant, and she got a big kick out of it. Well, she's another person that said, probably if I had reached out to her a few years earlier, she wouldn't have done an interview because she was trying to be a reporter. So she did say that at first it was tough because, people would recognize her, and it kind of undermined her journalism career. But by the time I talked with her, she already was well established, so she had a good sense of humor about it. And her mom was a casting agent. She was a actor. So it was like she knew it was her last thing. She's like, this is the last thing I'm going to do. I have fun with it, and then go on to my new career as a journalist. So, she was really helpful. She gave me a lot of good pointers on, doing good interviews and things like that. So she's been really helpful. And I've seen her a couple of times since. She came to a signing because for the Crystal Lake Memories documentary, she was in that. She came out to a signing. So she's been really supportive. So she's married now. I don't think she has children, but she's still out here in L.A., so.
Well, I was almost hesitant to reach out to her when I found out she was a reporter because I wouldn't think she would talk, but then I discovered that she was in a movie called The Bone Garden. Yeah,
my friend Mike Gutridge directed that and wrote it.
Yeah. So maybe there's hope yet of me getting her on here.
Well, if she's in something else, that's a good time to reach out and say, hey, you have a new project coming out, you can promote it, then you could also talk to her about Friday the 13th. That's how he got Kevin. That's the only way Kevin Bacon happened. He actually did not know it was for a book. I did a junket for that movie called Hollow Man, which we talked about earlier, not being very good. But so I was able to get an interview ostensibly for that movie and ask him some Friday the 13th stuff, and that's how that happened. There was no way he would not do an interview just on Friday the 13th for me. So sometimes you kind of have to do things like that.
Well, no, I loved Tracy Savage in that film, but I got to say, too, though, there's a lot of interesting people in it. Of course, Dana Kimmel being the heroine who goes through the same situation that Adrienne King goes through in the original at the end of the film.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. One of the things I like about Dana Kimmel, I understand that I think she's a Mormon, but I like the fact that she's kind of came out and now is signing hatchets and stuff.
Yeah, totally, yeah. Yeah, no, she's, she just said, she's on it. She's like, this probably is not the kind of movie I would see normally, but, she's glad people enjoy it, and she had a good time making it, and, so yeah, she thought it's been great. She did a commentary for the DVD that we all did together, which was really fun. People just made too big of a deal out of it. I guess people assume if someone's even remotely religious, they're just, not gonna, like John Shepard's another one. He's a very devout Christian. He does Christian films now. He was the lead in Part 5, Tommy Jar.
Yeah.
He gave me an interview and was very open about it and stuff, and we had a great time. So, but then there are some other people like, again, Laurie Bartram, who declined. Another one is the girl from Part 6, Renee Jones.
Okay.
She does not like dark things. She just didn't want to talk about it. So. Actually, on Days of Our Lives, I think that was the soap she was on. There was, I guess, a plot line involving possession or something. I never watched the show, but she asked to not be included in that storyline. So, so everyone's different. Some people it's an issue, some people it isn't. So.
Well, she had a really head-turning part in Part 6.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Another one that people really like from Part 3 too is Catherine Parks.
Oh, yeah. She's been to conventions recently. So, again, she was another one of those folks that she just didn't realize that there was a fan base. She's kind of like, oh, people care about this? And so, a lot of them just didn't realize it.
Well, I interviewed Catherine Mary Stewart a couple of years ago, who was in Weekend at Bernie's, and she said she just loved Catherine Parks.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
Yeah, she thought she was hysterical.
Yeah.
And of course, the other female in the film, Rachel Howard, we don't hear anything of her anymore. What's the story with?
She does not want anything to do with Friday the 13th at all. She was one of the ones that was really adamant, like no. And other people got in touch with her, and she just, even a couple cast members called her, said, "Hey, we're doing a reunion screening. You can come down." And she does not. She wants nothing to do with Friday the 13th whatsoever. So I don't know why, but I would think at this point you just laugh at. It's been so long. Like, who cares,
Yeah.
But, yeah, you never know, so.
But even the strange characters, like, what was that? What you going to say?
Oh, Martin Kitrosser and Carol Watson, they wrote Part 3, husband and wife team. He actually works for Quentin Tarantino now. He also refuses to talk about it. But again, it's kind of like, it happened so long ago, like, you think you just kind of laugh about it. Dan Bradley's another one. I tried to interview him. He played Jason in Part 6, but he was let go. He's Jason in all the daylight.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, he does not want to talk about it either. He actually hung up on me, so there you go. I got to laugh about that, but.
Well, I got to admit, I like the biker subplot. I actually thought it was interesting watching the Crystal Lake Memories DVD, seeing local interviewed. Kevin O'Brien. He looks so nerdy.
Yeah, some people. It's so funny. Like, some people kind of look the same. Like Amy Seal looks the same. Adrian. They all look like. And then some people, you're like, oh my God, they totally change into a new person. It's really weird. So.
Like, he looks nothing like local now. He looks like Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, I know. I'd never know in a million years that's the same person. Yeah, it's so funny how that happens.
And Nick Savage was in Fright Night, of course. With the bounce. Yeah. And Gloria Charles, I know she talks about it because I've seen her do some.
Yeah.
And
I did get in touch with Jeffrey Rogers, and he actually said yesterday in an interview, he's a doctor on the East Coast now, and then something happened, he wasn't able to do it, and then the deadline passed for the book, and I know he had some family issues, so I do regret I wasn't able to actually finally get an interview with him. But he initially said yes. So I keep hoping someone will find him again and finally interview him. So, because he's never talked to anyone about it, I don't believe.
Ah, might be a quest for me.
Yeah, you could try. Yeah, he's untapped.
And
So.
yeah, and yeah, part. Oh yeah, I was going to mention David Catum. Speaking of somebody that looks totally different now compared to.
Yeah. I know. You're like, ooh.
He looked like Tommy Chong.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't look like him. Yeah, that's the kind of person, if you pass him on the street, like, you would never know who they are. I'm trying to think of who else. Yeah, there's a few others like that. I can't think of them right now. And like some people like Dudley from Part 5 looks the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I guess you can still recognize Corey Feldman and stuff like that. Oh, another one. Yeah, I think. From Part 6. Oh, I can't remember her name. Red hair. Why can't I remember her name? She played Paula.
Oh, Carrie Noonan. I interviewed her.
Yeah, she looks a little different too. I didn't quite recognize her at first, but yeah. So yeah, you never know. So.
Well, Part 4, I did really well because I got to not only interview my favorite Jason, but is the only Jason I've gotten to interview so far. Okay. I love Ted White.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's so funny and a really good guy. He does not take. Can I swear? He doesn't take shit from anyone. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't. A lot of good stories. He's a definite cowboy, but I thought he was great. He's been so nice, and to me, it's a really funny interview. So.
Well, he's my oldest interviewee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was already pretty old when he played Jason. So he was in like Starman and Romancing the Stone, all these other movies.
Yeah, and when I had him on, like my interview with him was on YouTube. When I had him on, like he doubled for John Wayne and Clark Gable and the stories he shared.
Yeah.
He was my favorite Jason.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, I think he's finally retired from the convention. I think he did his last convention. I mean, he's got to be in his 90s, right? I don't even know how old.
Oh, he's 91 now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think who else?
Well, for Part.
Hodder's a sweetheart. C.J. Graham is a really nice guy. It's funny, all the Jasons are really nice people. You wouldn't think so. They put people on screen, but.
Yeah, Richard Broker we lost.
Yeah, I know. I would say the Jasons were the easiest ones for me to interview. All of them said yes. Like, there was no. It's kind of they were. Yeah, I had no problems there.
Well, C.G. Graham I reached out to, and he asked me how long the interview would take, and I said, I gave an estimate, but I said they'll be willing to work whatever time I could get, and never heard back. So I
don't know what he's up to. I know he's in Vegas for a while. I'm not sure what he's doing right now. So.
I mean, I don't hold it against anybody. I get people got schedules, but I no Part 4. What's that?
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say from Part 4, one of the things I really thought was interesting about Ted White is his trust, because he gave me 2 phone numbers, not over the air, mind you, but to Kane Hodder and to Judy Aronson. And I come to discover through author Mike Aloisi that Kane is really, really, really busy.
Yeah.
Judy Aronson, I can't seem to get her to respond, and I know that Ted White said that she'd be more than willing to do an interview, but I don't know whether she's getting the messages or what or you get these little check marks by the Facebook messages, and like, I don't bite.
Yeah, it's tough. You never know too if someone's on Facebook, if they're running their own page, or maybe some people aren't that big on social media, or sometimes they move. Like, I have a couple phone numbers that are now discontinued. I had no idea they don't work anymore, but. Because Judy, she did the documentary and the book, and she has good stories. She's also in Weird Science, of course, and other movies, so she has a lot of good stories as well.
Well, I'm not going to call her out of the blue, I mean, I'm obviously I want to message her, let her know how it went with Ted White, but
one thing you can try having if they're willing to do it, you have them call for you, so it can word that can help sometimes. That way you don't have to call them personally, but.
Well, speaking of fake accounts, I mean, I tried to reach out to Darcy DeMoss, and I come to find out through Scotty McCoy That was a fake Darcy DeMoss account I've been messaging.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Happens. People set up pages and stuff. You don't know if it's a real person.
Yeah. But part 4 had some interesting characters. Crispin Glover and Lawrence Monoson, they could have made a movie just about them.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
And
they're both still working.
And of course, the twins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they were really cool. I was really excited when I got in touch with them because I didn't know, I was able to find them. So that was really, and they both said yes. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Oh yeah,
they're really funny.
And of course Barbara Howard.
Yeah, I lucked out because she's from Chicago. I'm from Chicago originally, so I was able to find her in Chicago. Because that's a hard thing too. Again, before Facebook is, a name like Barbara Howard. There's a million of them. So, sometimes when someone has an unusual name, you can try. It's easier to track them down. You have some way to go, but that was like a needle in the haystack, and I just got really, really lucky. So.
And of course, Bruce Maher was in Police Academy the same year.
Yeah, I remember him from Fridays. This TV show was like a Saturday Night Live kind of competitor for a while. I used to watch that as a kid. I remember him from that.
Well, he was even funny in playing the Doctor in Friday the 13th Part 4.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's memorable. Axel.
Yeah, but no, the only interview I got from Part 4 right now is Ted White. I am going to aim for some others. I know Kimberly Beck. I had a hard time through a fan page, and then Scotty McCoy steered me in the right direction. I haven't reached out yet, but I finally found the right page. Thanks to Scotty. Scotty has steered me in some right directions because, of course, he did that trivia book. So I'm hoping to get Kimberly back.
Right. Yeah, she's really nice. She's really cool. Her husband's a famous producer. He produced like the Stuart Little movies and a bunch of other stuff. So she has, good stories as well. I'm trying to think, one person I never was able to find, I don't know anyone was able to find him, was Alan Hayes. He played Judy Aaronson's boyfriend. I've never seen an interview with him, so no one's been able to locate him that I know of. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Next time I message Judy Aronson, I might say, listen, if you don't talk to me, I'm going to talk to him.
Totally. Paul, that's right. That was his character's name.
Yeah, he had a rather nasty offing.
Yeah, well, he was a jerk. So,
Yeah. Oh, man.
Nice.
But and then came Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. And I'm going to have to say, I lucked out really well with that movie because I did 3 interviews with 3 very beautiful women. I got to say, I think, hands down, Melanie Kinnaman is one of the most gorgeous women, not only in the series, but I think she's one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, my God. Well, she lives right down not far from me. I just did he was in a little web interview for my friend. I showed up for that, which is fun. She's really, really nice, and she gets a kick out of it now. I think it was tough because she wasn't a big fan of the movie originally, but she's learned to just kind of have fun with it and stuff. She always laughs about the sweater. I guess her sweater's on and then it's off, and all that editing. So that was for everyone, though. So.
Well, you know what? I talk to her on Facebook pretty much every week. Every Friday, actually tomorrow I'll probably do it. I always wish her a happy Friday and a happy weekend every Friday. And and it's really nice to be able to talk to somebody like that and tell them they're beautiful and not have them be uptight about it, because it's been my experience with girls around here.
Mm-hmm.
And, I told Melanie the story when I first saw A New Beginning. It was at that birthday party. I said, my friends did not like the movie because it wasn't Jason and it was an imposter. But they said, you might not care much for the movie, but I said, you guarantee you're going to like the leading lady. And I told Melanie, I said, I remember when she first came out, I said, my heart just went pitter-patter.
Oh, that's nice. I'm sure she found it as a compliment.
Yeah, and she sent me a couple of beautiful autograph pictures. She offered to send the autograph Crystal Lake Memories, but I already had it.
Oh, good. All right.
I already had it, but I accepted the pictures. I was happy to get those, but I think Melanie is awesome, and I think I saw something on Facebook where she's shooting a TV pilot now, and I hope it works out. I'd like to see her
Yeah.
back on screen.
Yeah, I think she's acting again, so that would be fantastic. Now she does a few conventions and things like that. So, yeah, because she kind of disappeared for a while. She did other things, but now she's back. So.
Well, you know what? I felt really bad for her because I think, and I mentioned this, I think it's interesting between that and Thunder Alley, the difference between her characters. You know, in Thunder Alley, she was this irresponsible drug user, whereas in Part 5, she's you know, she has to be a responsible person, but
Yeah.
I think in many ways, and I said this to her and she agreed, I think she was exploited a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Part 5 was a very exploitive film.
Well, I'm going to say this. I've never met Danny Steinman,
Yeah.
and I don't want to badmouth him, but I think he was the worst director of the entire franchise.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He yeah. My experience, you know, he was nice, but I could definitely see the personality side that came out during the making of the movie, which wasn't all that pleasant. You know, he just liked, you know, he had a very pornographic, you know, mentality to things. So he was very open about that. You know.
Well,
So yeah, it's very exploitive. It was very different than like Part 6. You can see the contrast, you know, between those two movies for sure.
yeah. I mean, Melanie even pointed out that, during the rain sequence, her shirt was see-through, you know, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a dirty trick to play on somebody.
Totally. I know,
know.
because you can't see it. You know, and there was no video monitors back then for that kind of thing. Oh yeah. So,
But-
yeah, I try to put some of that stuff in the book, you know. But
Well, here's something Steinman did that. There was a scene in it where Melanie's running from him, and I think the scene is so stupid based on the way it's shot. She runs and she falls into the mud, and she's crawling through the mud, and Jason Poster's coming. And finally, he catches up to her. Now, had I shot the scene, I would have showed one scene of her face, one scene of him raising the machete, then Chevard Ross bursting out through with the bulldozer. Instead, it's back and forth from her face to the machete. And I'm like, just come on already. Holy frig, that annoys me. That is one of the... And I'm going to tell you something else that annoyed me in it, too. Chevard Ross goes upstairs after he wakes up. He walks into the room and he says, "Hey, anybody there?" And in the lightning flash, he sees all the bodies. Okay, I'll accept that. Then, you know, he turns and runs into Melanie Kinnaman, and Melanie goes, she looks in the room, and I'm like, had it not been for that flash of lightning, she would not have seen the...
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it.
I know. You know, as a kid, I saw that movie twice, and I just tried to force myself to like it. As only as an adult, I admit, like, I personally, some people love it. You know, everyone has their favorites, but, yeah, it didn't work that well for me, to be honest. I just thought the body count was too high. Like, when you know, I understand it's Friday the 13th, but you do want to care about the characters somewhat.
Oh yeah, they get the guy showing up at the chicken coop, just gets stabbed.
Yeah. I know. I was like, what? And then the people at the diner, I was like, what? It does nothing to do with the rest of the movie, and it definitely feels like padding, and it gets monotonous. So, yeah, it's not my personal favorite.
But I love Melanie Kinnaman though, and I've never met her in person. I would love to, but she's always been nice to me online, and I think she's still gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, she'll be happy to hear that.
But there were some funny people in that film. You got to admit, Ron Sloan and Carol Locatel.
Yeah. Yeah, they had a lot of fun, definitely. Ron Stone's a really nice guy.
The other two people...
I wish...
Yeah?
I guess I felt like the core group of teens were interesting enough that they could have done more with them. Like, you know, they did so much with these other random people in the town, like the greasers, and that they kind of missed the boat when they could have focused more on this halfway house. You know, because that's just creepy, you know, a house out in the woods and stuff. And yeah, I think, you know, I thought they missed the boat there, like Violet and the other, you know, they're essentially interesting characters. But
I was going to
You're right,
say,
yeah.
Melanie Kinnaman I interviewed Tiffany Helm. Love her as
Yeah.
Violet.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's still waiting for Cindo Echo to pay her some respect.
I love her robot dance. It's the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I interviewed her, and I interviewed Debbie Sue Voorhees.
Oh yeah. She's really nice. She's
Yeah. So I was happy to get three of the lovely, beautiful women from that film on here. And I know I've reached out to Shavar Ross. I heard too. You mentioned that John Shepard was into Christianity, and so I heard something about that with Shavar as well. But it's interesting.
He might be as well. Yeah.
But Shavar doesn't. Shavar's not ashamed of it though.
Yeah. No. Yeah. John either talk about it openly. But I remember John brought it up specifically that it was part of his thought process in doing the role, and then he decided not to do part 6. Where Shavar didn't really talk about it. So I've heard that he is religious, but it wasn't. He didn't really mention it the way John did. So but So I know Shavar's married with a kid, and he was laughing, telling me, his son reminds him of Reggie now, right? When he sees Reggie the Reckless, when he sees the movie, he thinks more of his son now than himself because he's so much farther away from that age now. So.
Here's a question for you. Do you think he's got that little red jumpsuit like hung, framed and hung up like a hockey jersey?
I hope he gave it to his son. That would be awesome. Yeah. I love that that's hilarious. So I don't know if it was intentional or not, because it's bright red. Like you think, okay, they did it on purpose. He's running around a bright blood red thing. I don't know with that movie. So.
Well,
my favorite part actually of that movie is when they're running him and Pam. And then Jason pops up and Shavar just runs in the other direction and leaves her by herself.
Oh.
Yeah. That is actually kind of funny.
Well, I was going to say, though, that what was I going to say? We talking about the religious thing, and I guess lost my train of thought. I know one other person, though, that had a funny role in the movie, Corey Parker, and that little song he sings, too.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Melanie was saying that when she worked with Shavar on set, she said Shavar was kind of a little distant, and she come to find out that he had a crush on her.
Yeah, he told me that too. I guess his mom was trying to kind of shield him from it or something. I don't know. I was really protective. So, which makes sense. I mean, you have a child on the set, you're going to be protective of them, I suppose. So.
Yeah. But part 5's always viewable to me when you got Melanie Kinnaman and Tiffany Helm and Debbie Sue Voorhees. When you got lovely ladies like that, it beautifies all the ugliness that's going on around them.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it's a pretty unpleasant movie, but part 6 did go lighter. I did 4 interviews from part 6. I had Tom McLaughlin on here. Yeah, he's great.
And I had Nancy McLaughlin on here, who I'm still in touch with. I love Nancy.
Yeah, they're such nice people.
Actually, with the night I won my Barry Award, I announced it on Facebook, and my phone was lighting up with emojis from Nancy McLaughlin.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, she's so sweet. She had this big barbecue for us and other people after the documentary came out and invited everyone, and at their house they had this big barbecue for everyone. And they're just so generous and nice.
I love her. She is awesome. I'm going to tell you something she did recently, but I'll get to it momentarily. But I had Tom Matthews on here. I like him. And I had Carrie Noonan on here.
Oh, great. Yeah, she's really smart, too. She ended up being a professor and teaches mythology, so she has a lot of really interesting perspectives on things.
One person I couldn't locate, though, was Jennifer Cook, of course, was the heroine.
Yeah, we just finally found her. She was tough. She's up in, I want to say she's in Canada now. Her husband, it's widely known, he invented Celestial Seasonings tea. So she has some children now, and she's up in Canada, I think. So, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. She was in the documentary. We got an interview with her, and she looks great and everything. So.
Although I have to admit, I wouldn't have minded seeing Melanie Kinnaman in part 6.
Yeah, and that was the original.
Yeah.
Thought of that. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's a very weird situation there. So,
But I got to admit, I like what Tom McLaughlin brought to the movie. You know, the car
yeah.
chases, the humor,
Hmm.
a lot of
Definitely.
great stuff like that. Part seven,
Yeah, they tried to make it a bigger movie. Hmm?
part seven, the only interview I've done from that is Lar Park Lincoln.
Hmm.
Scotty McCoy was the one that originally hooked me up with her. It took me about a year to get her. I mean,
Wow.
when I originally, I had her on Facebook for years.
Hmm.
I've had her on Facebook since before 2010. Like, it must have been like 2008 or something like that. We connected on Facebook.
Yeah.
The first time I heard from her, she said she was all podcasted out. But yeah, I said it's
Yeah.
not a no, but she said, could we wait? And I said, sure. I reached out to her at the end of last year because I made a joke to her. I said, in 2015, I ended off with an angel, which was Vanessa Angel. I said, I'd
Uh-huh.
like to end off with another angel.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I had her on here and we talked for 95 minutes, and Lar Park Lincoln was just an absolute great way to end
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah.
Lar was
Yeah.
wonderful. What was
Yeah.
your experience like with her?
Same thing. She was really nice. We talked for a long time on the phone. It was so much fun, and just so many other stories. Just her whole life. Just everything from the freedom bag she created to stories about her late husband, and she just I think she just tons of stuff now. And so yeah, I had a great time talking with her. I think we talked for like an hour and a half as well. So it was pretty great. And we started talking about wanting to be in part A, and that didn't happen, and stuff like that. So. Yeah, it was really, again, it was really fun because, again, I don't think she talked about Fire Team that much back then, so it was fun to get the stories and stuff. And she's so sweet.
I told her that in House 2, I'm always frustrated
Yeah.
when the guy opens the cupboard up with the pterodactyl in it, and he says to the one guy who believes him, that's a pterodactyl. Why not open the friggin' cupboard up while your wife is in there? I'm so frustrated at that part of the movie. It makes it difficult to watch. I told her, I said, if she was my wife, I wouldn't let her walk out.
Oh, yeah. Well, House 2 is I don't know. I never really got into the House series myself, but.
Now, part 8, I got one interview from part 8, and I got the one guy I was really hoping to get, and he was my second oldest interview. He's only a year younger than Ted White.
Wow.
I got Peter Mark Richmond. And,
Yeah, he's funny. Yeah.
And very gracious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was surprised. I didn't think he would say yes to me and I don't know why. I just had this. I'm like, oh, he's not going to talk about this, but he was totally willing. So.
Interesting thing about him, though, like I know his hearing isn't the best and his memory's not the best, but I'll tell you one thing: he worked with Gary Cooper, and boy.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, he worked with Gary Cooper in Friendly Persuasion. He remembered those stories, but I know he liked working with Jensen Daggett, but he couldn't remember everybody in the cast.
Yeah. Jensen's really sweet. Yeah, and it was that movie's tough. I mean, I think part 8 of anything, it's pretty difficult to make a good part 8. Some people like it. I don't know. I've seen worse movies, but it's not really one that I go back and watch a lot personally. But
I think Peter Mark Richmond's the best part of the movie because to me he steals every scene he's in.
Yeah.
Now Jensen Daggett's somebody I haven't reached out to, but it's not that I haven't tried. I just couldn't find any contact information. But what was she like?
She was really good. That was by email, so she didn't really want to talk on the phone. So I sent her I think 15 questions, and she gave me good answers. It is a little bit harder on email, but it was good. And I know she did a documentary, and she had a lot of fun with that. She did a couple of conventions, and I think she opened up a little bit more. She did the commentary, I think, for the DVD with Scott Reeves, so that was fun. I know her and her husband, they had a show on Home Garden Network or something, I think, for a while. I think her husband, an architect, I can't remember, but so I think she's doing well. Yeah, she's in a few movies. I think she's in Major League 3, and she was on a Will and Grace episode. She played Grace on. It was really interesting. She played sort of like a Grace-like character, but so no, she was really cool. So I always loved too with Charlene Martin. She played the bitchy girl.
She's somebody I would like to reach out to too.
Yeah, she's really fun. She has a really good sense of humor. She totally laughs about it all and everything like that. So.
Yeah, and then of course it went to New Line. Jason Goes to Hell. Now I haven't gotten an interview from that yet. I did reach out to Julie Michaels. Haven't heard back.
Oh yeah. I think the director is on Facebook. You might be able to reach out to him.
I've heard he's very. He said I was warned. Don't get Adam Marcus talking about politics.
Yeah, he's very very active on politics on Facebook. Yeah. So yeah, I'll talk your ear off. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a real nice guy.
Who?
He's very nice. No. Yeah. Who else? I'm trying to think from that movie.
John D. LaVey, Carrie Keegan.
Yeah, she's on Facebook. Yeah, Carrie Keegan. I don't think she is. Maybe she is. I can't remember. I'm friends with John LeMay and Adam Marcus. They're Facebook friends and stuff.
Carrie Keegan, I guess, didn't have a most pleasant experience on that film, according to your book.
There was some problems near the end, but I think they patched him up. I mean, she came to the book party and met with Adam Marcus for the first time in many years. I think they had a nice conversation, so that's nice. So I think things are okay. I think when time passes and people look back and are just like, it's not worth still being upset over, So.
And then came Jason X, which I gotta say, I've never heard so much laughter at a horror film in a while.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think I've seen it very many times. I did it. In the book, I want to make sure every chapter was equal because everyone has their favorites. But that was a tough. At least it was interesting from a writing point of view. The story behind them making the movie was interesting, so I enjoyed writing that chapter. But yeah, it's not a movie that I'm particularly into. But
I call it the room of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I do like Lisa Ryder though.
Yeah, she's cool. Some of the actors are good and stuff. It's so weird about that movie. It cost $20 million. I think they spent, and it still to me looks more direct-to-video than any other movies in the franchise.
Yep.
It's strange. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised they have not done a Friday the 13th in winter yet. Like, could you see Jason?
One of the original concepts. Yeah.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah. Because wouldn't that be something a little different?
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you imagine Jason breaking out of the ice or something?
Yeah. Yeah, like you said it. Well, to me, it's better than going to space. And what's weird to me when that came out is they rated Leprechaun in space and Hellraiser in space, and those movies weren't good. I don't know why they went with that concept. When I heard, I'm like, Jason in space, really? But,
Yeah. And then Freddy versus Jason comes out. Now, Freddy versus Jason, the one interview I did get from it, we actually didn't really talk about Freddy versus Jason. I interviewed Zach Ward.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Of course, we mainly talked about Postal and A Christmas Story, but I know you have mentioned Freddy versus Jason. And it's interesting because when you see him in Freddy versus Jason, he's got that A Christmas Story bullyish, devious grin on his face.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not he's a smaller part in Freddy vs. Jason too. So, yeah, that's a movie. I don't know. I don't know if people have any fondness for it. I mean, I was a lot older when that came out. But I don't know, maybe young kids, if that was their first Friday the 13th movie, maybe they. I don't know. No one really talks about it. I don't get so many emails or people asking about it anymore. So I don't know. It's a tough one.
And they did the reboot, and I guess they got another one that's supposed to come out.
Well, it just got postponed. I don't know. It just got shelved. There's a lawsuit going on. I don't know if you read about that between Victor Miller and Sean Cunningham about the rights to the original Freddy. So it's kind of a big mess right now. I honestly don't know what's going to happen with this new movie. I mean, I would be surprised if Paramount didn't do something with the property eventually. But just a couple of days ago it was announced that it's postponed or canned again. So we don't know if it's permanently canceled or what. But because they were casting, they had a script, and it's supposed to start shooting in about 6 weeks from now. And I went poof.
And October would be a great time to release it. There's been none released in October.
Yep, that's when it's supposed to come out, and then it got canned. So hopefully I'll get an update soon.
Well, yeah, because there's supposed to be a new Halloween come out this year, and a new lots of stuff, a Leatherface.
Yeah, they're talking about another Nightmare on Elm Street, but I don't know what's going to happen with that. I guess we just have to try to make it relevant. I mean, I don't want a found footage Friday the 13th, but you do have to make it somehow connect to kids today. And now with cell phones, I don't know. I mean, do kids still go to summer camping? I don't even know anymore. Kids go anywhere. I don't know.
No. Well, tell me, out of all the people that you connected with on this film to do this book, who was the one that you so badly wanted to talk to that you were just like in awe when you finally got that person? Was there any one person?
Well, I will say that the first one like that was Amy Steele, because she was my favorite final girl growing up. And so what happened was, again, this was before Facebook, so I would call like SAG and stuff and Directors Guild and get numbers for agents, and they gave me, by mistake, Amy Steele's home number. So I called thinking I'm going to get her agent or something, and Amy Steele picks up the phone. I'm just like, you know, I was mortified, and I can't believe even after my ramblings that she said, okay, sure. And then, you know, this was like, I kid you not, this was like 2 weeks into me doing interviews. So like, I just didn't think she would say yes, you know, or I didn't think I would get someone that major that quickly. And she's like, oh, well, why don't we meet in Malibu? So I'm driving out, and I go to this cafe, and there's Amy Steele in the corner waving at me. I'm like, oh my God, Amy Steele is waving at me. I mean, it was like, I'm like a little kid. You know, I'm thinking when I'm like 10 years old in my PJs watching Fighting Part 2, and here's Amy Steele right in front of me. And so that was pretty fantastic. So,
she still looks stunning?
She looked, I mean, this was, again, 2002, 2003. So, I mean, I'm like, she doesn't age. And Adrienne King was still, you know, obviously, you know, everyone gets a little bit older, but they still look amazing. And Adrienne Steele was great meeting her. I think all the main final girls, like Dana, you know, they were all, it was really cool to meet everyone. And I remember Kimberly Beck called me during the final of American Idol. I'm dating myself. And so I had to run away from this premiere I was hosting. All my friends like, where are you going? I'm like, I have to do an interview with Kimberly Beck because this is the only time I'm going to get her. So, you know, so I remember doing an interview with Kimberly Beck during the finale of American Idol. Just weird stuff like that. But so that was, I mean, Sean Cunningham was great to get. And all the director, you know. Actually, another one, which is a little weird, is Frank Mancuso Jr. and Sr. both did interviews for me. And Frank Mancuso Sr. was, you know, the president of Paramount Pictures. So I couldn't believe. I thought, oh, well, I'll try it. And he's never going to say. I mean, why would he say yes to me about Friday the 13th? I mean, he ran Paramount Pictures and did these Oscar-winning movies. But strangely, he said yes. He invited me to his home in Beverly Hills. I'm driving up to this mansion. I mean, you know, he's a millionaire. So I go into this mansion, and here's Frank Mancuso Sr., the president of Paramount, ex-president, you know, talking to me. That was really surreal, you know, because you just don't think someone at that level would talk about Friday, period, let alone with me. So, yeah, so there's a lot of really nice moments like that, you know, and things.
That was
so
good.
Cool.
That was good lead into my next question. I guess Amy Steele answered it for me. I was going to say,
Yeah,
you know, my favorite part of the movies is the females. Like, forget about the killings. I just think there's so many beautiful women in these films. It's like beautiful flowers amongst a battlefield.
It's all about that. Yeah, definitely.
So who's your favorite female? Amy Steele out of all?
Yeah, she's my favorite final girl, definitely, I think. I like some of the quirky, like, you know, Violet. It was fun to get unusual characters, you know. I'm trying to think of who else. Like, I did like Debbie in Part 3. She was great. Who else did I enjoy? Gosh, let me think. I was like, yeah, Paula from 6 was a fun character.
Isn't it strange she was the good girl and she got killed off?
Yeah. And some of the later ones, there were just too many characters. You can't really tell what, you know, it was hard. They didn't get much screen time, you know what I mean? That's why it's fun when someone had that kind of a quirky or unusual character. You're like, you know, we all remember Violet's robot dance and stuff. Like, you know, they really made an impression. You know, so that was cool. I was like Marcy's little speech about, you know, her dream with the rain turning to blood and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, that stuff really affected me as a kid. I don't know, I don't know. That's stuff I kind of like. The first 4 I really enjoyed.
I think for me, for the ladies, to me, it's a toss-up between Melanie Kinnaman and Tracy Savage.
Oh, okay.
I think they're both gorgeous. Although I gotta say, and I said this to Melanie, I guess she was apparently a dancer, and I've never got to see her dance.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't think she's ever danced in a movie. Yeah.
No, I'm like, it's a shame, because if she's got that talent,
Yeah.
not allowed to use it.
Yeah.
Although if you watch very, 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 very carefully in Saturday Night Fever, you can spot Adrienne King.
Yes, she Yes, tell me about that. She was in the little thing there.
Yeah,
A lot of people were in small little or in other movies. It's really fun.
yeah.
Other things.
I was going to tell you something about Nancy McLaughlin because I think she's a sweetheart. She answered something for me that I'll share here. Remember when the Ice Bucket Challenge happened a few years ago?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, for ALS. I actually got somebody close to me right now who has ALS, which it's a major downer. But another charity surfaced afterwards called the Doubtfire Face Challenge. And it happened after Robin Williams, unfortunately, took his life.
Yeah.
And I'm not suicidal, but depression can hit people out of nowhere. And I remember I'm kind of at a pivotal area right now where my parents aren't well, and it hit me one time and my system just shut down. And it was the first time I was on antidepressants. Now, I'm not on them now. Luckily, I didn't want to have to rely on those. But I remember the Doubtfire Face Challenge happened, and it didn't catch on the way ALS did, but I thought, well, I'm going to see if I can do something. And it involved taking a pie in the face for suicide and depression and nominating 3 people. And I remember the first person I nominated was Lisa Langlois from class of 1984.
Yeah.
And she did it.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah, she did it. And I've got it up on my YouTube page. And I remember when I had Nancy McLaughlin on, I brought it up to her. And she said, you know, it's funny. When I was in, I think it was England, I think she was vacationing in, she said they were talking about that on the news. And Nancy McLaughlin did the Doubtfire Challenge.
Oh, great. I can't wait to see her doing that.
Yeah, well, she was a little disappointed because she was trying to round up the cast, but she didn't realize that when she rounded them up, it was Halloween weekend and everybody was busy.
Yeah.
But she had props from the movie up there on the video. Mm-hmm. And she didn't take a pie in the face. She took a cake in the face. She changed things up. But she was really cool about it, and she nominated, Tom Matthews and his wife, and I forget, she had your book propped up on the coffin.
Oh, great. Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. She had your book propped up in the coffin, and she told me to go after Lar Park Lincoln, and I brought it up to Lar Park Lincoln in the interview, and Lar is totally down for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lar hasn't done it yet, but I guess Scotty McCoy, who did the trivia book, he did the challenge, and since he's a big Friday 13th fan and connected really well, he renominated Lar Park Lincoln. Lar Park Lincoln responded, goes, "Yeah, I'm on it." Yeah, she's going to do. Lar Park Lincoln told me that she's going to nominate Kane Hodder because she said you can get Kane Hodder to do anything.
Yeah, that would be great.
But Scotty McCoy nominated Adrienne King and Shavar Ross, Melanie Kinnaman, and Jennifer Bonko.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So they all do it?
I don't know yet. I know I nominated Adrienne King originally, but I don't have her on Facebook, so I'm not as connected with her, but I know that Scotty is.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that. Or I'm friends with her, too. I don't know if I might have missed it, though. Yeah. I can look through and see if she's posted about it.
But, I think Scotty said he's eventually going to private message them and see if they've seen it, because I know Lar Park Lincoln saw it, because I saw her humorous post about it. I know I brought it up to Melanie Kinnaman before, and I know she's been busy, but she says she could, eventually she could get somebody to shoot it. But, yeah. Originally, I was hesitant to nominate Melanie because she just seems so glamorous. But then Deborah Shelton accepted the challenge. And Deborah Shelton was in Body Double. Well, Deborah Shelton, she's getting, with her thing, she's a little tech savvy. So she kept asking how to get it to me and this and that. Well, she finally got somebody who can shoot it, but I kind of got to stick with her on it. But Deborah wants to get dolled up for it because she was a former Miss USA.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was,
Wow. That's great.
yeah, so she's down with it, and I've had a few takers on it. Some people from class of 1984, as I said, Lisa's done it.
Yeah.
Stefan's down for it as well. But and I brought it up to Melanie, and I hope she'll be down for it as well. I know that Scotty went after her on it, but yeah, I thought it was so cool. Nancy McLaughlin did this, and she put a lot of work into it. She did an edited version with it, where she had clips from the movie and clips of Robin Williams, and I thought that was really cool because originally when I tried to pitch this project, I had somebody from one of those Christian media sites who was into these garbage movies like Fireproof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one of them following me on Twitter, and I noticed a tweet she put. She said, what's going to be the next big challenge after Ice Bucket? And I brought up the Doubtfire Face challenge, and I asked her, because she had interviewed a lot of big celebrities, and I said, let's try to find an answer to suicide and depression, because it's never taken. Yeah. And she said I would have to nominate her first. And I went and I did the video, and it cost me money to do it. And I sent the video out, and she said it was a great video, but she's not taking a pie in the face. But she said, hope this catches on. And I finally dawned on me that they are using religion for profit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, they blamed a riot in Baltimore on the Purge. They said if you they said if you donate money to them, this won't happen.
Wow. Jeez, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it was funny because it's funny because they're against all these slasher films and stuff, but yet it's the slasher film people that are accepting this challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, like horror movie people tend to be the nicest, calmest people. It's a really weird, people think if you're like horror movie or something, you're crazy or violent. It's really so not the truth.
Yeah. But Nancy, like I said, she's been like a cheerleader in my corner. Like I said, the night that I won the award, like my phone was just going off, and she did that challenge. She didn't even hesitate. And Scotty McCoy, I thought was interesting. He nominated Shavar Ross and Melanie Kinnaman. It would be so cool if they did it together.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool. It's John Shepard too. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so no, I hope that they accept that challenge. So I don't know. I've got Melanie Kinnaman on Facebook. I haven't asked her about it in a while, but because I don't want to hassle people. But Laura Park Lincoln I'll reach out to eventually when I post her interview out. But no, I was wondering if you had heard about that.
No, I had not. No, never. Thank you for letting me know. I did not.
Well, if you're up for a challenge, feel free to take it up.
I've never had a pie in the face. I would do it. I would definitely do it. So I got to find someone to throw a pie in my face. Send me some information about it. I want to learn more.
Well, you nominate 3 people, and you know what?
Okay.
If you know Melanie Kinnaman, see if you can nudge her in that direction.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I talked to her.
Well,
I'll try to think of some other folks too.
What's that?
I'll try to think of some other folks too.
Well, I'm trying to get the industry involved because it's strange. Depression is never taken seriously, and it's a chemical imbalance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, the mental health in this country is it's pretty sad.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look on my YouTube site, the one with Lisa is on there, and the one with Nancy is on there. I don't have the one with Scotty yet on there, but he nominated Melanie and Adrian, Shavar, and Lara as well. So, and
that'll be a lot of fun. I want to watch these. So it's gonna be fun to see Nancy McLaughlin get a pie in her face. I love it.
Oh, she did it, and she said a line from the movie. She goes, "You bang."
Oh, great. Oh, good.
Yep. You think Melanie would do it?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, she's always fun and up for things. So, yeah, I can't speak for her, but everything I know about her,
Well, I've never met her in person. I just know by online. I think she's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I never know if somebody, if I throw a nomination at somebody, if they feel I'm insulting them, and I hope they don't
I
feel
don't think so.
no. But
Yeah, I hope not.
yeah, because it's really done. It's a great cause, and I think it'd be great, if get some of the people, especially young people, are so susceptible to depression, and they're the ones that the biggest market for horror films.
Yep, and that makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so I'll send you a friend's invite on Facebook, and then maybe I'll send you the links to Lisa's and Nancy's Doubtfire Challenge. Now, Nancy's is the rough cut I've got. She has sent me her edited version, and I've got to get my brother to upload it up. But frankly, I thought her rough cut was fine, but her edited version was fantastic too, because she styled it up and put some footage in it as well. So, yeah. So, yeah, I thought I'd throw that at you, and if you do Scotty nominated 5 people because he couldn't decide. so he went after those people, and I know he was still connected, but I remember when I did mine, I drew some names from a hat, and I threw automatic nominations out to some Canadian people, which Lisa, of course, answered. But yeah, if you send nominations out, go after people in the industry if you're connected, because I want to see if I can get this thing to go viral.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy to help.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about the conventions here briefly. You do conventions with your book?
I believe it. No one asked me to, so I have not been asked to do one. They have done a couple book signings here and stuff like that, but no, I've never been invited to a convention. So
that's what Tommy Hudson directed your Crystal Lake Memories.
Him and Dan Farron.
You know what? That just dawned on me because I had Tommy Hudson on here last year.
Oh, great! Yeah.
Tommy made a movie called The Id.
Yeah.
Great movie. And I was going to go after him anyway, but I ended up getting a double whammer because I had Amanda Wiz on Twitter, and I wanted to interview Amanda so badly because she was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Tons of it, yeah.
I love Amanda, and I remember her agent said that she was too busy, couldn't do an interview, and I was like, I'm gonna see if I can get her and Tommy together. So I got her through Tommy, and I got both of them on at the same time.
Oh, great!
And I hadn't seen the It at the time. I ended up ordering a copy of it that was signed by a bunch of the cast, including Amanda. And I liked the movie so much, I ended up having Patrick Douglas Padudu, who played her father in the film, come on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that film got a little extra. It's sad that film didn't get a wide release, and it was terrific.
Yeah, well, it's hard these days, everything goes to Netflix and stuff. It's just such a different world, It's really hard to get anything. I think it only played here a few days at most, so it's a shame. It's hard to see things in the theater anymore,
You know what? It's another thing too. Everything is so CGI. I actually, for the first time last year, I went to a film 9 times in theater, and I've never done that before. I went to a movie called Everybody Wants Some. Richard.
I love that movie.
I loved it, and I did 2 interviews from it.
Oh, great! Yeah.
And
it kind of got overlooked. Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny? The music took me way back because it was set in 1980, and so the music soundtrack took me way back because I grew up with the music, and I kept going back. And here's the sad thing: when Boyhood came out, they were nominating Richard Linklater for all these awards, and it's almost like anytime somebody tries to do something unique, it's like they're punished for it, because Everybody Wants Some did not get a very good release, and I think it was one of the best films of the year.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of people feel the same. I don't know what happened. I don't know if maybe because of Boyhood they thought, okay, we gave him his moment in the sun, and I don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Have you seen anything good lately?
Honestly, new movies don't do that much for me. It's kind of I don't see too much that really excites me. Trying to think recently, I watched Hidden Figures, is pretty good. I have no interest in seeing La La Land. I know I'm supposed to, but I just don't care.
I have a big
Rival
crush on
Schools.
Emma Stone.
Yeah, the movie just doesn't. I don't know. I'm not a big musical person though, so I saw Fences. That was well acted. I thought it was a little stagey, but yeah. I mean, horror movie wise, I Lights Out honestly didn't do that much for me. I know a lot of people loved it.
You didn't like Lights Out?
Not really.
Did you like Don't Breathe?
It was okay. Neither of them really thrilled me. I didn't see Rings. I didn't see that.
I haven't either.
Yeah. A movie called The Boy wasn't too bad. I saw that. I think it was late last year or early last year. I think what other horror movies have come out. Shit.
Oh, that was early last.
I go here to Revivals a lot. We just went to that double feature of The Changeling and Amityville to the Possession. We saw that was fun. So.
Oh, The Changeling with George C. Scott.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
the
like.
director introduced it. It's really cool.
Oh yeah. You must get a lot of those revival screenings in L.A.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 theaters here. All they do is show old movies. So yeah, that's a cool thing about living in LA. You see a lot of old stuff easily.
You see, the problem here in New Brunswick, we got a 10-screen theater.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get a big movie come out every week, and it'll be on 2 or 3 screens.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of these smaller films, we don't get to see.
Yeah.
And we do have a film society down here during the school year that plays films that don't play up the hill, which is nice because they play a lot of foreign films and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I would love to see pick up here in Canada is the film industry, because way back in the 70s and 80s we'd have movies like Class of 1984, Meatballs, Curtains, and movies
Mm-hmm.
like that. And of course we have Bon Cop, Bad Cop, which was a big hit here. And
I don't know that one.
Bon Cop, Bad Cop?
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Oh man, you gotta see it. It's got Colin Feore in it. It's half English and half French.
Oh. I don't think it made its way out here. There was no publicity on it. I'll have to check that out. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Bon Cop, Bad Cop, and basically there's a body, I guess, was thrown from someplace high up, and it's impaled on the top of the sign, and half of the body's in one destination or jurisdiction, and the other's in another half of the jurisdiction. You get 2 different cops, one from Canada, that are on this case because the body's in 2 different destinations.
Ah. Okay, I'll definitely check it out. Yeah, I honestly I don't think it even played here. It's crazy.
Yeah, you could check that out, and you got to check out the Trailer Park Boys movies as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with those either. So. Right.
Oh, those were hilarious. Ivan Reitman produced their first film, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, obviously no, I'm right, man, of course.
And you must have heard of Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yes, I have heard of that.
That was shot in Halifax, very close by here.
Yeah.
I actually almost, the call sheet for that for extras was going around when Hobo with a Shotgun was being made, and it was brought to my attention, and I was like, I'm not going to drive 4 hours to Halifax to be an extra in a film, but thanks for those things. But, so what's next for you?
Not too much. Actually, Tommy Hudson, of course, who you interviewed, he might have a couple book projects, and they're a friend of mine, so they want some help working on putting those together, some layouts and stuff. I don't know, not too much. I thought about doing a book on slasher movies of the 90s and beyond, like the second wave, the Scream, that whole generation of movies, because that has not really been discussed or analyzed. I don't think there's a book on that whole era. So I kind of feel like the 80s slashers, they've been talked about so much, there really isn't that much to say. So, I don't there really is no film series that I would want to do. Like I think Halloween's being done, and they've all been covered. So that's one thing I'm thinking about doing, but we'll see. So no definite plans yet, though.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like it might be interesting.
I think enough time has passed that you could look at that era and analyze it and see why was that culturally significant when it was, and how did those movies speak to that generation at that point. Because it's been 20 years since Scream came out, which is a little over. It's crazy when you think about it. So.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, you know what? I enjoyed your book very, very much, and
great.
for it being a fast read, for as being as thick as it could, you kept me interested.
Said that, which is fantastic. So.
What's
oh my God, it's so big and heavy and long. You're the first person that's ever told me it's a fast read, so that's good.
Oh yeah, like I just I went right through it, and it wasn't like a day going through it, but it didn't take. I don't know how long it took, but it didn't take long for me to read through that.
Great.
And I read through it right from beginning to end. I read everything.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
What's really impressive, and I'll even say this about Tommy Hudson about doing the Crystal Lake Memories disc there, getting all these interviews together, that's a feat in itself.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's why it took me so long. I mean, it took me 2 years. It's just 200 interviews. Just people don't realize, not just doing the interviews, but you have to get them transcribed. You have to go through all that transcript. You have to pull out the important stories and then arrange them and edit them. It's a huge process. I mean, the total, when I added up the word count, the interviews I did, it was over 1 million words of text. So, just reading through that in itself is a ton of work.
Wow. Well, you know what? It paid off, because I think your book's fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're just about coming down on 2 hours. My longest interview was with Lisa Langlois. That was 2 hours. And Stefan Arngrim, who was in the same movie as her, was only beaten by her by a minute.
Okay, good. All right. I don't want to beat her. I want her to be the number one, the longest one you've done.
She was the longest, and Stefan only by a minute less. Stefan Arngrim from I loved Class of 1984, one of my favorite Canadian films. I was honored to make some connections with that. But
I should try to get what's the Van Patten son? I can't remember his first name.
Timothy Van Patten. I heard rumor he don't like talking about the film.
Yeah, I heard that too. And then of course the director, right?
Well, Mark Lester, I've reached out to on Facebook, and I haven't heard back from him. It's like there's only so many times you can reach out to somebody when it just, it's either they're not getting the message, or
they don't want to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I said about Larry Zerner. I don't hold it against him for turning me down. I'm glad he said no, as opposed to me messaging him a dozen times.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Give your answer.
Yeah. But, when this comes out, I'll send the link to you.
Okay, great.
Yep. And eventually, sometime down the road, it'll go on my YouTube page. That'll be after it plays here.
I'll be happy to promote it on Facebook and everything, too. So, once we have a link.
Yeah, but just be patient with me, because it might be a few months down the road, but I got to wait for some others come through. But when it does, I'll most certainly keep you in the loop about it. And every week I'm adding new interviews to my YouTube page. And I know Nancy McLaughlin's and Tom Matthews are coming up within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So.
Oh, great. I want to watch those or listen to those.
Have you checked out my YouTube account?
I perused it. I looked through and took through some things. But, I haven't decided which one to watch first. So.
Well,
I'm not sure if I should. Maybe I'll do Tom or Nancy, because I'd like to hear more from Tom Matthews. And Nancy's always so much fun. So.
Well, I've got 42 of them up there right now, and your number right now, number 83. So there's a lot to come. Huh?
Yeah, you definitely have your work cut out for you. So.
It's been fun. Melanie's is on there, and so is Adrian's.
Okay.
They're both on there, and Ted White's is on there.
Okay. I'll listen to those.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So before you go, I was wondering if you do a plug for my show.
Sure. If I can try. I don't know how good I'll be at it, but
Just say your name and say that you're the author of Crystal Lake Memories. And my name is Greg Gilbert, and my show's called Python's Paradise. And the only other thing to add to it is I'm in New Brunswick, Canada.
So wait, I should say this is Peter Bracke, author of Crystal Lake Memories. And then what do I say after that?
Well, you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise in New Brunswick, Canada.
Okay, I'll try to get this all in one take for you. All right.
Sure.
I've never had to ask before. Not really. This is okay. A second. This is Peter Bracke, author of Crystal Lake Memories. You are listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise out of New Brunswick, Canada.
Perfect. You got it on the first shot.
Really? Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a natural.
Well, they're perfect. Well, I love your book. Congratulations. I wish you luck on everything, and I hope you connect with Scotty McCoy as well.
Okay.
Because I think you'll like him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if you see
I'll look for him on your Facebook.
Yeah, look for him, and he's a good guy, and he'll definitely give you lots of questions. He's somebody he asked me if he could reach out to you. So.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and if you see Melanie Kenneman, you tell her I said hello.
I absolutely will. I might see her soon, so I will definitely do that.
Well, I'm going to wish her a happy Friday tomorrow. I know that. I do that now. Every week I do that now.
Okay.
To brighten up her day.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was really nice talking to you, man. I appreciate the support.
Absolutely. And if you got anything else in the future, you let me know. I'd be more than happy to have you back on.
Yeah, if I have a new project, definitely. I will be getting in touch. Hopefully someday soon.
All right. Well, you have yourself a nice evening.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy the snow.
You had to say it, didn't you?
I did. I totally did. Right.
Yeah. Yep. Take it easy, man.
You too.
Yep. Bye.